Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to Cosmic Consciousness with Kassia. On this channel, we discuss all aspects of the ascension process. And I'm really excited to be talking with you guys today about one of the two biggest astrological transits that we are experiencing in the year of 2023. And that is Saturn's transit through the sign of Pisces. We actually have both of the most massive energetic shifts happening in the same month. We have Saturn entering into Pisces on the 7th of March. And then on the 23rd of March, we have Pluto entering into Aquarius. So March is a big energy, lots of dynamic shifts, just a lot of powerful forward momentum and energy brewing here. It is, of course, the spring equinox as well and the beginning of Aries season. So there's just a ton of stuff happening. And this Saturn in Pisces transit has been quite anticipated for a long time. One of the reasons that this transit is such a big deal is because this is actually wrapping up a 28 to 30 year cycle of Saturn. Saturn takes 28 to 30 years to move through the entire zodiac, beginning, of course, at Aries and ending with Pisces. So when Saturn completes this transit of the sign of Pisces in 2026, Saturn will be moving once again into Aries and initiating a brand new cycle. So this is the wrap up for this cycle of Saturn. Everything that we've learned, all the ways that we've grown collectively, this is where it's all really put to the test. And we're going to talk about these energies and so much more, and do a little bit of a card pull as well as we move through this video here. I'm going to do my best to timestamp where it is that the reading begins for people who do like to jump ahead to the reading portion. But there's a lot of really good stuff in here. This is, like we said, a big energy. This is make it or break it time. This is where we are really putting everything together. And it's really where the rubber meets the road in a lot of ways. As I said, this will be completing, and by this I mean Saturn's transit through Pisces in 2026. And it's interesting because actually February 13, 2026 is the day that Saturn hits 0 degrees of Aries. And it does so in conjunction with Neptune. So Saturn and Neptune will be conjunct together at 0 degrees of Aries on February 13th, 2026. And that's going to be a big energy all its own that we will get into when we get much closer to that point. Right now, we're going to focus on the energies of Saturn in Pisces. How is Saturn teaching us, right? How are we being asked to show everything that we've learned collectively as a society, as a whole, and individually as well? We are going to be dealing, of course, as we're moving through this wrap-up period, with a lot of Piscean themes. Saturn is the planet that rules structure. It rules boundaries. It rules kind of everything that Pisces is not. So this is a really interesting transit for that fact and that fact alone. Saturn is all about our soul lessons. People associate it with karma. There is kind of definitely a heavy past life energy and theme that I'm feeling here, being that Pisces is the sign that rules the 12th house. And there is, between the karma aspect and the Piscean energies themselves, it does feel like a big wrap up from now until 2026, February 2026, where we're really going to be looking at and moving past soul contracts that are outdated, right? Taking the lessons that we've learned from the experiences that we've had, not just in this lifetime, but in past lifetimes as well. And we're going to be clearing out some of that energy, clearing out some of those soul contracts, wrapping up cycles that we've brought with us from lifetimes and lifetimes. And yes, we talk about that all the time. It's something that we have been doing up until this point. But with Saturn in the sign of Pisces, we really are going to be, I think, wrapping up any of those, or tying up those loose ends, so to speak, where this is something that we've been working on, wrapping up these soul contracts, clearing these karmic cycles, these karmic loops, if you will. But this is really like the closing of that energy. So we can move forward really clean with a nice fresh slate when Saturn enters Aries along with Neptune. And it's no accident, right, that Saturn is entering 0 degrees of Aries to begin this new cycle with the planet that rules Pisces, right, Neptune. So a huge upgrade for our energy, a real fresh, clean slate that we're going to be entering into. But first we have to do the work that Saturn in Pisces is requiring of us. And that is going to be, anytime we have these repeating themes, these energies that we've brought with us from lifetimes and lifetimes that are still playing out in our lives today, especially around these Piscean themes, which would be the energies of powerlessness. These would be the energies if we have addictions, if we've suffered from addictive behaviors, right? Escapism, any of those types of energies. We are being asked to close those cycles, to close those, I almost wanted to say like feedback loops. Like just really put that energy to bed. There's a lot of beautiful high vibrational energy embodied by the sign of Pisces, but there are also some lower vibratory energies of that. And we've been in a process of closing those out in an overall collective theme for a little while now as we end the age of Pisces and move into the age of Aquarius. We're in that in-between time right now. It's like we've got one foot in the age of Pisces still and another foot in the age of Aquarius. And so Saturn in Pisces is really going to help us close out some of those energies as far as the lower vibratory energies that we experience through the sign of Pisces, so that we can really rise to that higher octave with our vibration, with our energy. This, excuse me, my throat just got really... You guys know how that happens to me sometimes. When I'm channeling, we're having these conversations, the scratchy throat. Where were we? Closing out this age of Pisces, these lower vibratory Piscean energies, so we can move into that higher octave of energy. Pisces is the energy of spirituality, right? It's the energy of mysticism. It is the energy of spiritual teachers and spiritual leaders, and that's like the higher vibration of that energy. But we're beginning to understand that it's not about looking to an outer leader, right? An outer guru. It's about finding the guru within. That's one of the lessons, one of the gifts that we're receiving as we close out these Pisces energies. We're realizing what Pisces energy ultimately knows, right? Which is that God is everything and God is everywhere. But most importantly, God is right here. And so really coming to a deeper understanding of that, and a deeper understanding with Saturn transiting in Pisces, and how it is that we can take these higher spiritual ideals and concepts and root them in our daily lives. Saturn is a grounded, practical energy. It's a very boots on the ground kind of an energy. And so Saturn is saying, how can we live our spirituality? Not just talk about it, not just think about it and philosophize isn't a word. Philosophize. That's not just that, but like, how do we really live that? How do we anchor that in? Another beautiful thing that this energy is doing on a more esoteric level is it is shifting us into these higher spiritual timelines, these timelines that align with our soul and are the truth of our souls, right? I'm trying to like frame all of this as it's coming out and make it make sense. So just bear with me as we're moving through this aspect of the energy here. We're anchoring in those higher timelines. We're merging more powerfully with our higher selves. And we're really bringing that body down, that energy down through the body and anchoring that into the planet. There's a lot of beautiful high vibrational energy that is being anchored into the planet during this transit. And we are becoming even more powerful satellites for that energy. There's a ton of integration of the light codes that we've been receiving, especially the really powerful ones that have been coming through over these last few years, really anchoring that into the body, anchoring that into the planet, into the planetary grid, and becoming really powerful conductors of that energy. We're closing out all these lower timelines, merging into the highest timeline for our souls and our most empowered timeline. Saturn in Pisces wants us to understand boundaries, and not just the boundaries that we set with other individuals verbally, but energetic boundaries as well. How well do you hold your energetic boundaries? And what I mean by this is going to be especially powerful for empaths, because we are really going to notice when it is that we are taking on energies from the collective, taking on energies from the people around us, and sort of internalizing those and making those our own. We're going to be learning how to become less of a sponge for outside energies and more how to hold those energetic boundaries and contain our own energy. And we're also being asked to learn how to be responsible for our own energy. Remember, Saturn wants us to learn how to be responsible. Saturn wants us to thrive. It wants us to be successful. But first we have to learn the lessons, right? We have to gain the wisdom. We have to earn everything that we have. So Saturn really is emphasizing this point because it's very difficult to be successful if we are not taking responsibility for our own energy. And one of the ways that we do this is through having those firm energetic boundaries, right? But it's also through taking responsibility for all the areas of our lives, that energy and that knowing and understanding that we create our own reality, that everything that is happening in our reality is something that we chose and we are creating. When we can fully accept that, that gives us the power to shift and change things. One of the lower vibratory energies of Pisces is falling into that victim mind state, falling into that energy of powerlessness, that energy of feeling as though we're sort of at the mercy of the winds, if you will, just kind of being blown along. This Saturn energy is asking us to really root and ground our energy, to really take responsibility for what we are experiencing in our lives and to drop the victim mentality completely, to let go of resentment, let go of all the feelings and energies that allowing ourselves to feel victimized and see ourselves in that role of the victim. When we do that, it contributes to these resentful energies, to all of these lower vibratory energies that we're being asked to transmute and sort of rise above. So we're going to have experiences as Saturn moves through the sign of Pisces where those feelings may be, even if we haven't experienced them in quite some time, may be dragged up to the surface. Who and what is it that makes us feel powerless? When do we find ourselves reverting back into that victim consciousness, right? That the world is out to get me kind of an energy. Right? There's one thing in knowing and understanding that the system is rigged, right? But it's a whole other thing to truly believe at our core, or not even truly, because that's the thing, we don't believe this at our core, but our minds will trick us into thinking that we believe that the whole world is out to get us, right? That we're completely unsupported. And so for Saturn, sometimes it's important to feel that. That's the energy and the message that I'm getting right now. Because when we feel that way, it forces us to fall back in on ourselves, to learn how to rely on ourselves. This energy, Saturn and Pisces, wants to take away anywhere where we have been leaning on or placing our needs and the fulfillment of our needs, placing that on the back of another. Where we have been expecting from others what Saturn wants us to understand we can do for ourselves. So it's going to be really interesting in that way. If we are dealing with addictions, if we are dealing with escapism, if we are dealing with the energy of just feeling displaced on this planet and in this reality, right? We're much more connected to ourselves as an ethereal spiritual being, but we have difficulty connecting to ourselves as a human being, right? A spiritual being having this human experience. That's going to be called in, and we're going to be asked to really, this is blending the Saturn energies with the Pisces energies, right? To really root and ground down into this experience. All right, I have this higher spiritual knowledge or whatever, right? But how do I translate that? How do I live that? How do I bring that down and embody that in this lifetime in an empowered way, in an empowered and decisive way? And as Saturn moves into Aries, we're going to be dealing with a whole different level of that when it comes to the empowerment of the self and all of that. But right now, it's all about looking at where we allow ourselves to be or to feel disempowered and taking that empowerment back. All right, what else do we want to talk about here? Yet we are going to be bringing more of the soul light and energy into the physical bodies. And Saturn in Pisces is going to be allowing us to integrate that energy. And one of the, when we're talking about these past life energies and timelines that we're clearing out, one of the most powerful things that came through was that we're going to be clearing the energy and the karmic, the traumatic imprints of the lifetimes where we were persecuted for our spiritual beliefs, when we were persecuted for using our spiritual gifts. A lot of that energy is going to be coming back up for people so that it can be cleared. And so I would recommend to anyone who hasn't, who would be interested, I have the information in the description box below on how you can purchase the Heal the Healer's Wound group clearing that I did. It's like 1111. It's a really powerful clearing that really tapped into a lot of these themes from past lifetimes, a lot of these energies and these wounds that many of us carry from when we used our gifts and we were harmed, we were persecuted, we were killed. That's going to be really powerful as we move through Saturn and Pisces. And those of you who have watched it, if you were there for the live and you never got the replay, reach out to me if you would like the replay. I do have it available. Anyone who joined originally live, that replay is available to you anytime. And anybody else who wants that, please reach out to me if you would like to purchase that. Anyone who's done it already, I recommend doing it every now and then, just to really anchor in some of those downloads and some of those clearings, because this energy is going to be coming up again. And any experiences, it's not just when it comes to the healer's wound and all of that, but any experiences that cut us off from God, that cut us off from source, where we were so traumatized by something pertaining to our spirituality, to the energy of God, creator, source, whatever you want to call it, that we cut ourselves off from that part of ourselves, which is, of course, cutting ourselves off from the truth of who we are, right? Because I am God. Right? So that's going to be big. And any and all of that stuff is going to be coming to the surface. We may, for some of us, have people entering our lives from some of these past lifetimes. We may have memories flooding back. We may simply feel the response as these strands of our DNA are activated, as these cells in our bodies that respond to this kind of like that energy comes back online, comes up to the surface to be purged and released. Let's see. Because this energy is all about ultimately having a deeper and more sustained relationship with spirit and with our higher selves. And so anything really that is blocking us from being able to better embody our higher selves, our higher timelines in this lifetime, will be coming up to the surface to be released, cleared, and purged. All right, so let's get into some cards here. What do you guys... yeah, what do you guys want to do? Let's just throw that energy, and we'll see if I picked up on any of that energy as we move through here. I think I'm going to start with the Sacred Light Oracle and pull a couple cards from this. Saturn's transit through Pisces. Clear 2023 to 2026. What does Spirit want us to know about these energies, navigating them? Deep soul, when we talk about clearing out and ending old soul contracts, powerful new soul contracts coming online as well. Ones that help us connect to these deeper parts of ourselves. Society as a whole becoming more spiritually conscious and aware. Us really working on, and as a society becoming more concerned with how it is that we bring the spiritual into our systems of governance, all of the institutions, right? Saturn can represent these things, authority, right? Finding and being guided by a higher spiritual authority, challenging. See, we're already jumping forward into that Aries energy again. Challenging those in positions of power, if it is clear that they are coming from a place that is not spiritually centered or spiritually pure. Tibetan Fire Serpent is the first card out, and this is card number 33. seeking a higher truth, discernment, a better path, authority. So there's that authority energy we were just talking about, right? So I love that energy for us. It is there, seeking that higher spiritual ground, that higher spiritual truth. Learning and practicing, and we've been working on this for a while, right? Practicing the art of discernment. Being able to, and discernment is essentially like judgment. It's like being able to recognize truth. When we're presented with information, being able to judge by the resonance what feels true for us, to be able to identify falsehoods, to be able to identify and trust our judgment around who and what is best for us. Rising up to become our own authority. And demanding that those in places of authority wield that power with benevolence. And there's going to be a lot exposed, I think, around those in places of power who are spiritually bankrupt, so to speak. Really helping us, Saturn and Pisces, really helping us to take charge. It's like exposing these darker, insidious energies that have been lurking underneath the surface in plain sight. Right? Isn't that an interesting paradox? Underneath the surface, but in plain sight. Let's get something else out here to go with this. We have Cathedral of Light. Stubborn attitudes extending the olive branch. Artistry. Interesting. And so there is this energy of rising up against tyrants, right? Speaking out, being able to identify those people who misuse their authority. But the Piscean way is a way of peace, right? It's taking that higher, it's finding and operating from that higher ground. And so the better path forward is the compassionate path, right? It is the path of peace. It is the path of love. And so it's weeding these false energies out of our society, but doing that with an energy of love, right? It's bringing in that Pisces energy is all about that Christ consciousness energy. So it's like, how do we operate and solve these problems from that type of an energy, right? From this higher Christ consciousness. And so this is where we may begin seeing people who have been polarized, who have been at odds, beginning to find some common ground. This is where if there are people in your life that you have been at odds with, especially if there are people that matter and have significance to you, like everyone does. Everyone is significant. There's nothing in our reality is an accident, right? But those souls of particular significance to you, right? Your soulmates. It's like finding common ground again, coming back to a place of understanding, love, compassion, and understanding. I want to look into this Tibetan fire serpent a little bit more. And it is fire, but he has the water symbol behind him as well. Right? So it's like bringing that beautiful water energy and merging that with the fire. There's a masculine, feminine kind of energy here, right? With the fire and the water. Let's see. When the fire serpent rises, its energy unlocks, releasing blocked and stagnant energy as it ascends from the base chakra. By transmuting energy, it cleanses the spirit on a cellular level. A master of the first ray, Almoria, assists with grounding this sacred energy into the lower chakras and opening those toward the crown to create balance and harmony within the physical, mental, and spiritual bodies. Ascended Master Almoria chooses to share the wisdom of the ancients with those who seek a higher truth. Emphasizing self-mastery, Almoria suggests you unclutter your life with authority and discernment. Fire up. Determination and perseverance will help shake up rigid ideas and open experiences so you are living life at its fullest. You are born to thrive, not just survive. Visit your sacred space to activate the sleeping serpent and ground your heart and anchor your spiritual self. Your needs have changed over time, and so should your daily practice. Be brutally honest with yourself. Life is about showing up. Be there and be present. You are never too small to make a difference. The affirmation is, I release old energy with love and gratitude. I am free to explore my heart's desire. So really, we have this theme and this energy here of spiritual alignment, right? Of that energy that we talked about, bringing in that higher spiritual energy that's really clearing and realigning the chakra system, opening us up, activating us in powerful ways, creating that balance between the mind, body, and spirit. And I love just when I say cathedral of light, like think about what you imagine there. I feel this is the energy. It's like these light codes and these activations coming through are really bringing us to a, it's like, it's very Neptunian, right? Neptune being the ruler of Pisces, dissolving our barriers. The barriers, remember, Pisces is the energy of the return to oneness. So dissolving the apparent barriers, that's where we're talking about the dissolving of that polarity, of that black and white thinking, that I'm right and you're wrong, that being at constant odds with each other. It's like we're merging and melding back together again. We're finding that common ground. We're able to see and recognize each other as souls, sharing this human experience together. So if we are sharing this human experience, how can we come together to make it better, not just for the individual, but for everyone? What are the structures that we can create, that we can put in place that will assist us in this energy, right? These are some of the things we're going to be thinking about. Wherever it is that we've been stubborn, that we've been refusing to budge, this Neptune energy, this Pisces energy is going to come in and dissolve that a little bit. Make us a little bit more malleable. Open us up. Open us up so that we can reconnect with each other. We have Temple Secrets on the bottom of the deck, which interestingly enough is card number 32. And this deals with a lot of occult type energies, observations, rituals. The mystery path. Anything else that wants to come out here? Ascension flame. Wanting to pop out there. And notice the Reaper on that card. That's what it looks like to me. That's what it looks like at first glance to me, was a Reaper. All right, so that death energy, that rebirth energy. And then we have Power of Presence coming up. Unlocking your potential. Being authentic. Power struggle is also mentioned in this card. Right, so that energy of coming into our own power coming up again. Of finding our voice, of finding our place. Finding that empowerment within the self. This is the situations and the energies that we are going to encounter as we move through this transit of Saturn and Pisces. The ultimate goal is to unlock the greater potential and power of our souls, of our soul light. To really begin to sing that soul song in earnest. we have on the bottom of the deck Archangel Michael. So Archangel Michael coming through, saying, let me assist you in cutting those cords. Let me come through with my sword and bring you clarity, bring you strength, bring you protection. Divine timing. This card speaks to, when I look at this, I see the clock behind him. Speaks of divine timing. Things happening. If there have been things that you've been wishing for, that you've been wanting to create, Spirit is saying Saturn is bringing in that energy of divine timing, where your manifestations for many people are ready to blossom, are ready to come through. But it's all about that energy of, like, we have to take ownership of our own energy first. If we're able to show up in our power, to take ownership of our energy, to take charge of our lives, to look at the ugly truths, if we're able to move through this initiation, it feels very much like an initiation by fire, even though this is a water energy. Initiation by fire and water, I guess we could say, right? If we're able to do this, then the timing for our manifestations, it will come to pass, right? That divine timing. Remember, divine timing, when we talk about divine timing, we're talking about the time it takes for everything to line up perfectly. We're talking about perfect orchestration. We're talking about the energy and the understanding that our higher selves, our souls, have a clearer picture of the trajectory of our lives than we do. They see all the parts that we're missing, right? They have that higher vantage point. So they know when you ask for something, they know whether you're ready for that thing that you're asking for. If we're not ready for it, we're not going to receive it, because we wouldn't know what to do with it if we had it. So when we seek to manifest something, Spirit first seeks, our own souls first seek to prepare us. And we've been going through a preparation phase for a long time. What I'm feeling is that this entire cycle of Saturn that we're getting ready to complete now in these final few years, as Saturn returns to Pisces, have been about preparing us for what it is that we asked for the things we didn't even know to ask for. And so as we move through this cycle, it's kind of like what I'm being reminded of right now is like Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts. You know how you get the different patches for the different the things that you complete. It's kind of like that. Like, we're getting our last few patches now. So, if not during Saturn and Pisces, then during Saturn and Aries, the divine timing is coming in. And what I mean by that, everything, divine timing is already here. Divine timing is what has dictated what we're experiencing right now, right? But the receiving energy, right, of divine timing, that's coming in for people. People are getting ready to receive. We have the violet flame here as well. And then we also have energy attachments under that. Ooh, and past life. A lot of interesting energy coming up here. So this is all about really cleansing and clearing our energy. Once again, the importance of that. With Saturn and Pisces, with our energy being so open, it also is going to be easier for other energies to slip in and attach. So we need to be extra careful. We want to be calling in the most high vibrational energy. We don't want to catch any stragglers, so to speak. So we want to be really aware and have a really good spiritual hygiene regimen. We want to be using that violet flame daily to cleanse and purify our energy fields, to transmute any energies that no longer serve, to ensure that we're not taking on any extraneous energies. And there's some of these themes, right, that we're going to be working with as we move through Saturn and Pisces, are coming through here again in the reading. right? The energy of self-sabotage. Where is it that we sabotage our own happiness? What is the fear underneath our tendency to sabotage ourselves? Right? Is it a fear of failure? Is it a fear of success? Is it a fear of abandonment? These are the questions that we're going to be asking. We're also going to be asked to look at who and what we surround ourselves with. To really look at that. To look at and examine our connections. Are these feeding and nourishing us, or are they draining us? Because our energy is going to be so open during this transit, we really want to be careful what we're consuming, as far as what we're watching, what we're listening to, the people that we're engaging with, the situations that we're engaging in. And we can clear some of these old self-sabotaging and addictive cycles and behaviors, like, for good. This is an energy of really clearing that out. If we work in earnest around that over these next few years, we can find incredible liberation and freedom there. We're going to be looking at our relationships. Is this symbiotic? Am I receiving as much as I'm giving, and vice versa? Spirit is asking us to be fully present during this time. To be fully tuned in and tapped in. To stop checking out. And that's going to be a question that's going to be coming up for us. How do I check out of life? It's not always as obvious as an addictive relationship or a substance addiction or something like that. Sometimes it's as small as constantly scrolling through Facebook, right? As watching endless Netflix on TV. And I'm calling myself out here because I zone out like that sometimes. I've always been a person who enjoys a healthy escape from reality. And that's part of my mission as a Taurus sun, right? Is learning how to be fully anchored in and present. So like as I'm doing this reading, I'm calling myself out just as much as anybody else, right? These are the things we're really going to be asked to look at. Is it feeding my soul and my spirit, or is it not? And what Spirit's saying is it's either one or the other. Right? There's a lot of instances where there are a lot of nuances. Right? Things are not black and white. There's different shades of gray. But Spirit's saying when it comes to this, it's pretty black and white. Is this nourishing my spirit, or is it not? And if it's not, it's time to go. If it's teaching you, then it is nourishing your spirit from one perspective, right? But if we're experiencing the same thing over and over again, are we really learning anything? It's like the final test, right? When we finally pass the test is when we take the action, when we break the cycle. That's when we've really learned the lesson. And that's what this energy is all about. Then the past life energy here coming through. Like we said, clearing out energy from many lifetimes here. Some people may be, as I think we talked about in the beginning of this video, having spontaneous past life recall. Some people may feel called to go into past lifetimes to learn more about themselves, about the patterns that they're seeking to break. Clear. And if you guys want assistance with that, please reach out to me. My email is in the description box below. I am seeing clients again. Got the sphere of light on the bottom of the deck. So much. It's just cathedral of light, sphere of light. Just light, 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 you guys. Clear. Oh, this is the sacred light oracle, so I guess that makes sense. But this energy is all about that beautiful lightness. I want to actually got a couple decks here I want to pull through for the end of this reading. We're going to do a couple Black Moon astrology cards. See what these cards have to say. Saturn and Pisces. Clear. 2023 to 2026. Clearing out our Akash. All right, tell me some more about this Saturn and Pisces transit. We have the 9th house faith coming out with the air element, communication. So on our minds are going to be these Jupiterian energies. Faith, this transit is all about building faith. Faith in the unseen, faith in the spirit. And how do we develop faith? We develop a stronger sense of faith when our faith is challenged. So as much as I know people are going to hate that, we are going to experience challenges that call us to dig a little bit deeper than surface level. There's also an element here of communicate, like people's spiritual gifts are really going to be coming online during this time with all that higher energy coming in as more of our soul light is entering our body, as we are integrating these past life energies and experiences. There's going to be a huge boom in psychic gifts and a huge boom in awakening in general. Like new waves of souls who have not yet awakened are going to be awakening during this time. And there's going to be a lot of communication. Some people, there's going to be communication coming through from people's ancestors, from people's passed on loved ones. Those of you who are mediums and have not really tapped into that aspect or ability. And when I say medium, what I mean specifically, a medium is someone who can specifically contact the dead. So somebody who speaks to souls who have crossed over. That gift is going to be coming online for some people. Some people are going to be seeking communication with passed on loved ones. This is a time where we're going to see the greater collective and people who hadn't necessarily been interested in more spiritual concepts and different stuff, reaching out more, being curious, wanting to learn more about astrology, wanting to learn more about maybe get a psychic reading, right? Maybe receive some energy healing for the first time. Those of us who have a life path that's calling us towards providing those services for people, business is going to be booming. That's all I gotta say. Like, people are getting more and more curious. This is a powerful new level of awakening, and we may be learning new things as well, enriching our studies. We have another 33 card here. The 9th house is card 33 in this deck. 33 and 39, which breaks 39 breaks down to 11, right? So this is really interesting. I like this how the 33, that's a master number. Right, the number of the Trinity, a number of spiritual mastery. So I love how that keeps coming up for us. Yeah, really people tapping into and building a stronger connection with their galactic family as well. People who are meant to be channels. That channel really opening up and you beginning to receive communication from these different beings and energies. Always make sure that you have some sort of system to ensure that you know who you're talking to when these communications do start coming in. If you're new to this, ask to be shown their true form. Are you in highest service to humanity and to the highest, most Christed light? Are you of the highest and most Christed light? Different things like that, ways that you can read into these energies. This is once again learning about energetic boundaries. If you start receiving communications, or if you are seeking them, put up your energetic boundaries and hold those firm. Always question everything. This is where discernment comes in again. If we are receiving communication from other beings, other entities, are we fact-checking that with our own discernment, with our own resonance? Don't believe everything you hear. This is true when we're talking about the media and stuff like this, right? It's just as true when we're talking about some of these extra dimensional beings as well. All right? Practice discernment. You know truth because you recognize it with your heart. You feel it in your body. All right, pay attention to, that's what Spirit's saying, one of the most powerful ways you can, I keep getting the word like fact check, but you can like check the intentions of energies, entities, beings that you're communicating with, is like the sensations that you feel in your body. If something's off, you will feel it in your body. You will feel it in your cells. You'll feel it and you'll sense it with your heart. Beings that are of this higher vibration and intention, there'll be a light feeling, a compassionate feeling, a gentle feeling, a joyful feeling, or some sort of sensation in your body that allows you to know. A sound, a sensation. Some people, it may be helpful to take like a channeling class where people can teach you some of these things in more depth. This is where during this time a lot of people are going to be sharing their communications, right? Sharing the information that they're learning and gaining. Sharing what they know, what they believe with one another. Any type of higher learning when it comes to spirituality, spiritual practice, spiritual pursuits is going to be highly favored. Some people you may actually, if you are somebody who is already involved in these arenas, you may begin traveling and speaking, doing talks, stuff like that, about spirituality. If you're a channeler, like sharing your channelings, that may happen over these next few years. We have the water element coming out with Mercury retrograde, which is all about reinvention, reassessing. And this is all the emotional, intuitive energy, right? Air and water together are highly intuitive, right? This is where our intuitive sense, our third eye and our heart come together to bring us through the information. I feel like there actually might be something for us. Let me see if I can find the book here in the Mercury retrograde reading. So I'm going to check this. This guidebook is actually, I love this deck. It's my favorite astrological deck. It was a gift, and I'm so very grateful for it. I really, really enjoy it. And we don't usually read from the guidebook, but it's really in depth, and you can give yourself some really great readings if you tap into the guidebook as well. Let's see. And this is also, this retrograde energy is making me think that the retrogrades that Saturn goes through as it moves through the sign of Pisces are probably going to be pretty profound. Let's see. Anything that I want to read for you guys here. The general warnings that we're getting in here of when Mercury goes retrograde, we know how those all are. Back up your work. Be be prepared for technical difficulties and oh, that's interesting. I'm feeling like some of our technology might go on the fritz a little bit during this transit of Saturn and Pisces, which is really interesting and not something that I would have expected or anticipated. And so it's like, I think part of it has to do with all this higher spiritual energy that's grounding into the planet, that it's going to interrupt some of the Wi-Fi signals. It's going to interrupt some of the, it's going to be interrupting some of the technology that we're not aware of either that's being used right now. And some of this technology is nefarious in nature. So it's going to be doing, that's going to be a great service that this energy is doing for us, is interrupting that. And I feel like the intergalactics are channeling some of this energy specifically through for that purpose. But it's also going to possibly cause some blips in the technology that we're familiar with, that we use. Which is going to be interesting. Let's see what else here. Unusual and fated meetings and occurrences. Like we said, those are those deep soul bonds coming through. Yeah, I think that was the message that wanted to come through there, was just about the ways that it's going to be interfering with technology, which is fascinating. And we're being called during this time to tap back into our feminine energy, to tap back into our intuition, into our ability to sense, to feel into things. And it's interesting because Saturn generally, right? Saturn is a ruler of Capricorn. It likes to make plans. It likes strategy. It's a very linear masculine type of an energy. But this Saturn in Pisces transit is asking us to tap more into our feminine energy, our intuitive side. As we're making decisions. So it's like sometimes our outside resources that we would go to help us make a choice or a decision aren't going to be accessible. And that's this Mercury retrograde energy. It's kind of like, say for instance, when you're having a relationship issue, this is just an example, and you don't really know what to do, you go on YouTube and you just look up all kinds of different tarot readings to see if something's going to resonate that you can apply to your situation. All of a sudden, the day you try to do that, YouTube's down. Or your Wi-Fi just isn't connecting. It's like that kind of an energy, that kind of stuff that's going to cut us off from all the outer ways that we gain information so that we learn how to go within to find it. And then we have the Yod destiny. Yeah, a lot of destined, fated energies, meetings, connections coming through. Really bringing us, like we said, we're clearing out some energies. We're fine-tuning ourselves and preparing ourselves for what's next, for this higher, very spiritually charged chapter of our lives. Clearing out the old stagnant energies, clearing out the energies of the past so we can move fully into the future. Anchor fully in the present with an eye on the future. That's Spirit wanted me to kind of correct that. Yeah, a lot of that past energy clearing out. And I'm being drawn to the fact that the South Node card also says life's debts on it. And we have the Yod Destiny card. So Spirit is saying that there are going to be, like, as we are moving, like, along our life path, our life trajectory here, it's also about the responsibilities that we have. And so some of us are going to, remember this is Saturn we're talking about here. If we have commitments that we've made, if we have things that we, responsibilities, things, people that we owe, things like that, we're being asked to clear all that energy up, and we're being asked, like, we're not going to be able to shirk our responsibilities. That energy of escapism is going to be high. That desire to escape is going to be high at times. but we're being asked to not give in or cater to that energy. You know, there are commitments that we've made that need to be honored. And Saturn's not going to let us get away from that. We have the first house, the body, on the bottom of the deck. A lot of physical changes happening during Saturn and Pisces, I feel. We talked about all that higher spiritual energy coming in, the integration of that. I feel like a lot of physical body changes. Remember, our carbon-based bodies are changing and transforming into a crystalline structure. Okay, like the body that we have right now is not the body that we're taking with us as we ascend. And so we're going to begin to see some of those physical changes happening. Like the way we look may begin to change, to shift. We're beginning to grow into our higher spiritual body. And anywhere where our current habits and routines and the ways that we nourish ourselves are not in alignment with what our bodies need in order to continue to move on to this higher spiritual level, we're going to be like, that's going to become clear. We're going to have to take better care of our bodies. We're going to have to do our part on the physical, right? Remember, the Saturn and Pisces, blending practicality and spirituality, bringing the spiritual into the physical. We're going to need to take physical action around supporting our health, supporting our bodies in this metamorphosis. And we are, like, our light bodies are growing, and our physical bodies are beginning to catch up, and we're beginning to feel and sense and see some of those shifts. Some people, there may be health issues that pop up during this process. But it's like the resolution of those and the addressing of those things is what supports the body. It's like the body's calling attention to what it's lacking and what it needs more of or less of in order to thrive. All right. Let's get a Secret Language of Light card here. And then we may pull 1 or 2 Starseed Oracle cards to close. Clear. Give me a card for Saturn in Pisces, 2023 to 2026. And yes, the Pluto and Aquarius video will be coming very shortly here. All right, so we have create space and joy coming out. And I love how the two juxtaposing energies right here. All the light energy here and then all the darker colors. Has a very kind of a masculine, feminine, negative, positive charge kind of feel to it, doesn't it? So Spirit's saying create space for more joy. That's the guidance. That's the guidance from your soul as we move through Saturn and Pisces. Create space for more joy. That's it. I don't even need to go into any more detail. It's a pretty self-explanatory message right there. Remember, it's either supporting my soul or it's hindering my soul. It's either feeding my soul or it's not. There is no in between. We got the Starseed Oracle. Going to pull a card from this to close here. Maybe a couple. Clear. Give me a couple closing cards for all of my beautiful starseeds for Saturn in Pisces. Couple closing cards. All right, first card out, Lost Lands. Yes, yes. I'll hold that up for you guys in a second, but that's all about soul memories and gifts. Hiereth, longing for home. And baby steps. All right. So, Lost, I'm going to hold these cards up for you real quick. This longing for home energy here. This is where we're really being called to establish the earth as our home. You know, a lot of us, those who resonate as starseeds, we know that we're not from here. This energy is not familiar to us. It's not our natural state to be embodied here. And a lot of times we have trouble fitting in, and we have trouble. It's like once we learn about the concept of being a starseed, all our attention goes there, and we're like, okay, so when can I go back? When can I go home? That's when we talk about being fully incarnated, we're talking about being fully invested in this experience here. Remember, one of the most powerful messages that I received over the past few months was that we transcend this three-dimensional game by loving it completely, by being fully anchored and invested here. So it's like that energy of homesickness. It's time to release that. But we are receiving the memories and the corresponding gifts that we're going to need in this lifetime. It's like Spirit's saying, when you're fully able to anchor your energy here, that's when your soul gifts and abilities really come online. When you stop thinking about your energy is not off in the cosmos all the time, and you really begin to anchor that energy in here, that's when things really start popping off. And remember, you've done this before. Some people, it's like you're going to get these memories. These past life memories are going to come flooding back in, and that's going to cause and create this sense of homesickness. Where maybe you'd been doing better with that, or you hadn't felt that before. It's like when you remember where you've been, sometimes for some, it may make it a little more difficult to be where you are. And so Spirit's saying you have to move through that energy. And know that you're bringing all of that beautiful energy from where you've been to where you are right now. We are the bridge. That's what Saturn and Pisces wants us to understand. We are the bridge between heaven and earth. All right, our body, our mind, our spirit, our essence, our energy. We are that bridge. And that's how we create the heaven on earth, by fully being that bridge. I don't know. I can't think of a better way to say that right now. You guys know. You know what I'm trying to say, though. And then we have baby steps coming out. Action, follow your intuition before it makes sense. Take those steps, those divinely guided steps. Pisces energy can sometimes like to kind of float in the void. This isn't the time for floating in the void. This is the time for taking that beautiful inspiration and really bringing it into manifested form. And it doesn't have to be big, huge things. A lot of people, we're going to be getting downloads, and we're going to be feeling inspired to go in different directions and to do things that we don't understand. And Spirit's saying, if you know that that is your spirit communicating with you and guiding you in a certain direction, don't question it. That's this energy of faith, right? Have faith. If you feel that, if your discernment tells you that this is what's meant for you, even if you don't understand why, that this is the best decision, even if it doesn't make sense, trust that. And this is the time where we're just really being guided to move forward despite the fear. Remember, courage is not the absence of fear. It is the willingness to walk through it. Take those little steps. Take those little guided steps. All right, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Spirit's saying, even if you have a huge goal. Sometimes our goals and our dreams are so big that they almost paralyze us because it's so overwhelming and we just don't know where to start. Spirit's saying, start anywhere. Do anything. Just get the energy moving. What is that? It's a quote that my mom used to have hanging on her refrigerator. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. I forget who that quote was by, but I saw that every single day growing up. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And think about all the time we spend thinking about the things we need to do instead of actually doing them. We have a 1,000-mile journey ahead of us. We spend 1,000 days thinking about this 1,000-mile journey and how it is that we're ever going to complete that. If we had just taken one step per day, we'd be there already. All right, so just take that step. Any step. And when your intuition, when your soul is guiding you in a direction, don't question it. If you feel it, if you know that that is authentic guidance coming from your soul, you can feel that. You get that confirmation, whether it's a ringing, whether it's a feeling in your body, in your heart, whether it's a fluttering in your stomach, whatever it is, take that action. Trust yourself, trust your soul. That's how we come into alignment with our soul, is by trusting it. Don't be afraid to take that leap. Have that faith that spirit will catch you. And then we have Earth pulsing. Pulse of the mother, slow down time in nature. So spirit's really wanting us, don't forget to connect and recharge with nature. Don't forget, yes, it's about taking those steps forward, taking that action, but don't drain yourself. Balance. This is all about balance. Everything, life is all about balance, right? And then with the new Earth card here, keep holding the vision. This is a reminder that we are anchoring in those higher timelines during Saturn and Pisces. So really, I've got the portal energy coming out here. So really know and understand that we are anchoring in that energy. Keep holding that vision. Keep daydreaming. Keep visualizing. Keep raising your own frequency. As you raise your frequency, you raise the frequency of the planet. And you raise that frequency through your thoughts, through your words, through your actions, and yes, sometimes through your inactions. This energy is all about us having the discernment to know what is appropriate when. And then the portal energy, I love this. This energy, this entire transit of Saturn and Pisces is like a giant portal, right? And there's a lot of openings, a lot of possibilities. As these timelines, as we are aligning these timelines, we're going to have all sorts. It's like you can hop on. It's like I'm seeing like 100 trains all moving down the tracks, and you can jump on any one you like. All right, some people are going to really be mastering this art of shifting timelines, and they're going to be shifting and like doing some really crazy stuff with that shifting timelines, like jumping from timeline to timeline to timeline. It's going to be interesting. But yeah, we get to choose. This is a journey, right? This is, and many consider this to be a school, right? The Earth School. But we get to decide the curriculum. You know, go in with that theme. It's like we get to decide the classes that we're going to take, add or drop, as we see fit. Yes, some of this was pre-registered before we came here, and there's really no running from it or avoiding it. But we get to decide how we proceed down that path. And we still get to decide what we learn, because if we're tired of taking the class, it's time to pass it. Did you see how I stuttered there? That was interesting. If we're tired of taking the class, it's time to pass. You know, study, pass the test, move on. And if there are lessons if we've been ditching class one too many times, and it's really time for us to learn a lesson so that we can move on, that lesson is going to just keep showing up over and over again until we're willing to look at it. And then we have I Remember, Soul Plan, the fated life versus the destiny life. You get to choose. It's like, I feel like for a lot of us, as our soul's higher plan for us is becoming more clear, right? As the curriculum that our soul set out for us is becoming more clear to us, also the different options that we have are going to be becoming more clear. All right, you know, your soul says, for instance, all right, this is what we came here to learn. How do you want to learn it? Here are the options. This is one of the things we came here to do. How do you want to do it? Here are the options. And we get to decide. It's kind of like those like choose your own adventure books. I don't know if you guys ever read those when you were kids. It has a scenario and then it says, if you make this choice, turn to this page. If you decide this, turn to this page, that kind of thing. It kind of feels like that in a way, where it's like we're really vibing with our souls on a deeper level, co-creating with them, partnering with them. Clear. And taking that creative control and that creative license with our own lives. For our own lives. All right, you guys. I think that's going to wrap it up for this reading. We're, of course, going to continue to talk about these energies. We've got a few years of Saturn in Pisces here, so buckle up, you guys. This is going to be a wild ride. Remember, as we go through, as all of these powerful shifts are happening, remember to create space for joy. All right, create space for life. Create space for bliss. Create space for you. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit that like button. Drop a comment down below and let me know. Share this with anyone that you may think might be interested and find the information useful. And if you're new to this channel and you're still watching this video, you should probably subscribe. So we're over an hour in right now. So if this held your attention, you definitely belong here. So go ahead and hit that subscribe bell and click the bell with the little squigglies so you get the notifications when more videos come out. You guys are amazing. I love you so much. I'll talk to you soon.